This is the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans, don't let fans drive drunk.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show. I'm Chris Yao. We are presented each and every week by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. We've got folks from Lebanon to Erin, from Portland to Pulaski, telling you all about high school football from around the Middle Tennessee region. Excited to do it, and we are always ready to hear about what happened on Friday nights. So let's get right to it. We're going to start over in Murfreesboro, where Monte Hale will tell you what happened over in Rutherford County.
Hello, I'm Monte Hale, sports editor of the Murfreesboro Post. We're here to talk about Week 9 of high school football, a recap of last Friday night's games. We'll start out at MTCS, team trying to battle its way into the playoffs this year. Of course, they are the defending state champions, but lost the bulk of that team. They were victorious over Kings Academy over near Knoxville, 37-30, so a big win as far as the standings are concerned. Eagleville 28, Loretto 21, good solid home win for the Eagles as they move to 5-4 on the season. This was not a region game though, so they've got two tough ones coming up as they head down the stretch. Green Hill undefeated, 43, Laverne nothing. Of course, Laverne has not won a game this year. It's been a tough year. Just don't have the talent that they've had. They've had some very talented players there, but they're really scuffling to score, and they just faced a much better opponent. Pope John Paul II, 49, Rockville 28. Rockville actually led in this game for a pretty decent portion of it, but obviously on the defensive side of the ball could not do much of anything. It was Beach 35, Siegel 20. I guess on a positive note, Siegel scored 20 points. Beach doesn't give up many. But Beach wins 35-20. And again, that was a non-region game. Oakland 42, Coffee County 10. Oakland trailed 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. Of course, they're the state's number one ranked team. But Coffee County, they're a scrappy bunch. But Oakland came back with 21 unanswered points. Coffee County answered with a touchdown to make it 21-10. And then Oakland reeled off 21 more to finish a 42-10 victor. Once again, Oakland finds a way to score a lot of ways. They had an interception return for a touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown. The two big games of the night, it was Stewart's Creek 21, Smyrna nothing. These schools have only played, this is 11 times now. This was the first time that Stewart's Creek had beat Smyrna. And it was a huge game because Stewart's Creek now controls its destiny as far as winning the regular season champions. They've already beaten Smyrna and Antioch, who are the only teams close to them in the standings. Again, this game was scoreless at the half, but Stewart's Creek came alive offensively in the second. Stewart's Creek's remaining games are against McGavock and Laverne. Riverdale 24, Blackman 7. They call it the backyard brawl. There was no brawls, fortunately. It was a 7-0 game at the half, Riverdale on top, but the Warriors also got it going there in the second half, and so they're setting pretty good for that number 2 seed, which means a home playoff game. But it's not all over yet. If Riverdale beats Oakland, like they did in this situation last year, they would actually be the number 1 seed. So that's a look at last week. We've got 2 more weeks to go. I'm Monte Hale. sports editor of the Murfreesboro Post.
Thanks, Monty. Let's go on now to Tommy Bryan, who's got a report from Wilson County.
Hello, everybody. This is Tommy Bryan, sports editor of the Wilson Post in Lebanon. And here's a look at the high school football action from last week involving our 7 football teams here in Wilson County. Watertown got a bit of a jump on everybody when they went to Coalmont on Thursday, October 17, to play Grundy County High in a Region 4 3A game. Watertown prevailed 45-44 as quarterback Blake Waldorf threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for 2 more scores. The Watertown defense forced 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble to help them snap a 2-game losing streak. When action switched to Friday, October 18, Mount Juliet Lebanon took most of the headlines as the Golden Bears never led until the final 2:29 in Friday's win over Lebanon at Clifton Tribble Field, Danny Watkins Stadium, by a score of 24-21. Lebanon's Deuce Edwards ran for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Mount Juliet quarterback Tyler Travers completed 8 of 14 pass attempts for 182 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a touchdown as the Bears defeated Lebanon for the 2nd consecutive season. Gallatin topped Wilson Central 48-13 at Calvin Short Field. Green Hill's defensive unit recorded its 5th shutout of the season on Friday with a 43-0 win over winless Laverne High School. Mount Juliet Christian Academy snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 37-19 road victory over Nashville Glencliff. And finally, in Jamestown, York Institute scored a 4th-quarter touchdown to hold off Friendship Christian School 26-23 despite 133 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns from Carlando Barton. That's a look at the high school football from Wilson County last week. I'm Tommy Bryan. I will talk to you later.
Always a pleasure, Tommy. We'll move on to Blaine Kellar up in Sumner County as he has a report for us.
Quarterback Caleb Sams connected with Riley Jordan for an 89-yard touchdown pass with 40 seconds to go, handing Hendersonville a 31-28 region win at Portland in the final minute. I'm Sumner County sports editor Blaine Kellar here to break that wild game down and a few more across our area. As I mentioned, Sams had the big gain to Riley Jordan in the last minute of play, and that win for Hendersonville very well could have locked up the region's number 2 seed for the now 6-2 Commandos. Riley Jordan, that 89-yard touchdown pass that capped the 95-yard go-ahead scoring drive. He also threw for an explosive gain in this game. Very similar trick play to what he had a year ago at home against Portland. His twin brother Cooper Jordan scored 3 touchdowns as part of Hendersonville's attack. And the Commandos have picked up a string of close wins now, a few of which in region against Springfield and Portland. Here's some other scores from across the county. Gallatin won 48-13 as part of its Union throwback game, a really important night for the community and for alumni and even students of Gallatin to get to know about Union High School, which was Sumner County's only high school for black students during the segregation era. It was an important game and a big win for Gallatin to break a losing stretch. Beach took a 28-point lead en route to a 35-20 win at Siegel. They weren't the only ones to pick up a road win. Station Camp 14, Creekwood 7 in Region 5-4A action in Charlotte. Another big win for the Bison as they continue their midseason turnaround. Talking about Hudson Holman now, JP2's sophomore quarterback had 5 touchdowns for a 49-20 win against Rockville. The Knights' revenge tour continues after losing to teams like Davidson Academy and Rockvale a season ago. They picked up wins over those squads now and have a chance to continue that going into the next leg of their season. Westmoreland won its 7th straight game, a 35-6 decision against Smith County in region play. And White House was the only area team to drop a game this week. They fell 42-6 against state title contender Upperman. So look at your Sumner County football scores for this week. Be sure to catch all of our coverage on Main Street Preps, and we'll kick it back to you guys.
Thanks, Blaine. Appreciate that so much. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more from around the Middle Tennessee area on the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Welcome back into the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show. I'm Chris Yao. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Thanks to our sponsors at the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. We'll stay in the northern part of our coverage areas. Calvin White, the Main Street Clarksville sports editor, has a report.
Hello everyone, this is Calvin White, sports editor of Main Street Clarksville, here to give you a quick recap of all the Week 9 high school football action in Montgomery County. There was only one game on the schedule last week because of fall break. Kenwood hosted Dickson County. The Knights beat Dickson County 41-13. Quarterback Jacoby Cox accounted for 3 touchdowns, and running back and linebacker Josiah Brown rushed for a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and returned a fumble for a touchdown in Kenwood's 41-13 win over Dickson County. With the win, Kenwood moves to 3-5 and have now won 3 in a row after their 0-5 start. That'll wrap it up for all of the Week 9 action in Montgomery County. I'm Calvin White, sports editor with Main Street Clarksville. I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Calvin. We go now to Dixon Post and Cheatham County Exchange sports editor. That is Casey Patrick. Casey, how's it going?
Hi, how are y'all? My name's Casey Patrick. I'm the sports reporter for the Dixon Post and the Cheatham County Exchange. We're going to give you a quick rundown into last Friday's football action. And it is going to be quick because there were no games in Cheatham. They were all off for fall break on their bye week. So just Creekwood and Dickson County from last Friday. We'll start with the game I was at, Creekwood's game. They hosted Station Camp, a game with huge playoff implications. Both teams were 2-2 in the region coming into the game. And quite frankly, I believe it was probably the best game I had been at all year. Station Camp pulled it out 14-7. Creekwood had the ball under 2 minutes around midfield with a chance to win. It was a close game between two pretty close teams. Station Camp, of course, I think they made a quarterback change a few weeks ago. Since then, they've been winning a lot of games, and they're up to 3-5 now. But those 5 losses are to some serious contenders. So Station Camp's the real deal. They're a pretty good team. Like I said, that 14-7 over Creekwood. Dickson County on Friday, Cougars with a pretty poor effort lost to Kenwood 41-13. At one moment in the game, I believe it was Kenwood's first score, was a 50-yard fumble return for a touchdown, which was followed by a fumble on the kickoff return, which was returned for a touchdown. And then the following kickoff was fumbled again by Dickson County, and Kenwood took possession. So Kenwood went up quick on them 21-0 and the rest of the game kind of went downhill. I know Devin Dugan scored a touchdown in that game. I'm not sure who scored the other touchdown for Dixon, but Dixon, I believe they're 3-5 now, and season on the ropes. So that's it for last Friday. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and see y'all later.
Thanks, Casey. All right, and before we take our final break of the day, we want to get David Wilson, the sports editor of the Robertson County Connection, see what he has to say about what happened on Friday night in his area.
Hey everybody, this is David Wilson, sports reporter for the Robertson County Connection, here to give you a quick recap of all the Week 9 games across the Robertson County area this week. There's a big matchup in Region 7 5A with major playoff implications this week in Springfield as the Yellow Jackets played host to the Hunters Lane Warriors, and it was Springfield picking up the 35-0 win over Hunters Lane that had big playoff implications in the Class 5A playoffs. Springfield now needs a win over Beach, a Portland loss to Hunters Lane, or a Henry County win over Hendersonville to secure themselves a spot in the Class 5A playoffs. Even bigger, head coach Dustin Wilson picked up his 100th career win on the sidelines at Springfield, his alma mater, this past week. He's been there 13 years and led them to 2 state championship games and had numerous big wins over his career. He's also led them to 4 region championships. This was a big win as well that helps them eat closer to the playoffs. Kason Woodson was 10 of 16 passing for 154 yards and a career high 4 touchdowns. Drew Wilson's defense pitched their second shutout of the year. Last one came back in the season opener against Greenbrier. Moving on, White House Heritage picked up a 49-7 win over region foe Stewart County. Xavier Murray, once again a phenomenal, tossed a career-high 6 touchdowns in this matchup. He was 16 of 18 passing for 379 yards. He connected with wide receiver Eric Lopez for 3 of those scores as Lopez hit the end zone on all 3 of his catches for 141 yards. Wide receivers Dason Springer and Price Payne both went over the 100-yard mark as well, with Springer finding the end zone twice and Payne finding the end zone once. White House Heritage has already guaranteed itself a de facto region championship game on November 1st as they play host to the Fairview Yellow Jackets. Moving on, Upperman defeated White House 42-6 on Friday night towards Eastern Tennessee. Bronson Chafin, the quarterback for the Bees, had a passing and rushing touchdown. Ethan Polk had 2 rushing TDs as well. And then Carmine Phillips intercepted White House quarterback Easton Biggs and returned that one for a touchdown as well. White House's lone touchdown came off a pass by running back Michael Albin. Moving on, the last matchup of the week was Pearl Cone, the defending 4A state champs, handed Greenbrier their 8th consecutive loss of the years. Pearl Cone, with a 62-0 win. Greenbrier will round out its slate this year with its final 2 games at home versus Creekwood and Montgomery Central. That'll do it from this week's edition of the Wrap-Up in Robertson County. Looking forward to talking to you guys next week.
Thanks, David. All right, we'll take one more break. When we come back, Southern Middle Tennessee and all that surrounds that area right here on the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show. Stick around.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
He shoots, and he scores!
We're back here on the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show. Chris Yao here. Glad to be with you on this Monday, telling you about all that happened over the weekend. And of course, don't forget to vote each week for the Main Street Preps Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week, as we thank our friends at Delta Dental for sponsoring that. We go now to the southern Middle Tennessee region, where Maurice Patton has a report from South Williamson and Maury counties.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Murray. Week 9 of the high school football season down this way featured 4 games, starting with a Region 5-5A matchup as Columbia Central took care of business in a big way, defeating Franklin County 48-7. Freshman Jamari Hall, making his first start, had 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 to open the scoring for the Lions, and Kamari Frierson added a 95-yard kickoff return as the Lions improved to 5-3 overall and 2-2 in Region 5-5A play with that victory. Also in Region 5-2A, Mount Pleasant drops its 3rd straight game, falling to visiting East Hickman 24-22. The visiting Eagles got up early in that one. Mount Pleasant rallied late but couldn't quite get there. Sophomore quarterback J.P. Easterling ran for a score and threw for one late as the Tigers fell to 5-3 overall and 3-2 in Region 5-2A play with that loss. Independence stepped out of region play and picked up its 2nd straight victory. The Eagles went to Fairview open with an onside kick attempt that Lucas Penland recovered and took 50 yards to put the visitors on the scoreboard early, and they never trailed again in a 30-0 win out at Fairview. Their 2nd straight win after dropping 6 to open the season. The Eagles 2-6 now. And in Region 6-6A action, Summit snaps a 6-game losing skid in a big way as well, defeating Overton 48-7. The Spartans led 48-0 at the half behind senior quarterback Mason McElhaney, who ran for a pair of scores and threw for 2 as well. Aiden Britton took a 52-yard interception return to the house as, again, Summit improved to 2-6 on the year, 1-3 in region play. That covers Week 9 in the Main Street Murray high school football coverage area. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor. We'll see y'all later this week.
Thanks as always, Maurice. All right, let's go now to Wade Neely, where we'll get reports from Lawrence and Giles counties.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen and contributor over at the Lawrence County Advocate. Time for an update as we creep closer and closer toward the end of the high school football regular season. Time for a recap of how our squads did. Everybody was in action after a couple of idle dates the previous week, and we begin with the Wildcats of Lawrence County. Tough road to hoe. We knew it would be a tough ball game. They had to go on the road. They had to play the region powerhouse, the Shelbyville Golden Eagles. Nothing really went right for Lawrence County. They fall in that game 42-14. They are now 2-6 overall, and that game drops them also to 1-4 in region play. So Lawrence County is almost undoubtedly out of the playoff hunt, but they still have 2 more regular season games. We'll tell you about those later this week on these same airwaves. Another tough loss for a squad over in Lawrence County. It was 28-21. Loretto kind of set themselves back early, rallied, but never could get over the hump on the road at Eagleville. Loretto's been up and down this year. We've seen them score a lot of points. Every game that they have won, they've scored at least 34 points this season, and they've also given up a lot of points. They gave up 43 to East Hickman 2 weeks ago. And again, 28-21 is your final there. The Mustangs are now 4-4 overall, but in a loaded Region 5 AA, they currently sit at 3-2. Speaking of that region, Summertown with a nice, maybe the big victory of the week in overtime as the Eagles force 5 turnovers and knock off Richland, a team that had only tasted defeat one other time this season back in Week 1. And that was to a 5A squad. So Richland had been playing well, but but Summertown goes on the road, takes care of business again. 5 turnovers forced was your key to victory in that game. Great performances from the Eagles in that win. And don't look now, folks, but Summertown continues to play well. They're 6-2 this season. And as we kind of creep closer toward the playoffs, they sit there at 3-2 in region play. We close with Giles County. I told you guys about Richland earlier. That loss does set Richland back in terms of confidence, but in the grand scheme of things, everything's okay for Richland because that was a non-region game. So Richland will still have 2 more region games versus Moore County and Eagleville, and both of those games will be at home. So Richland's still in pretty decent shape, all things considered, even though you never want to lose a game to a rival. Speaking of region wins, Giles County clobbered Community. We told you guys that Community winless on the season. As long as Giles County showed up and took care of their end of the deal, they would be okay, and they certainly did that. They had 7 different kids scoring touchdowns as they got 6 touchdowns from seniors, including one. Shout out to Caden Reinhardt, an offensive lineman who moonlighted at running back a little bit. Cool to see him get into the end zone. His first touchdown was all that Giles County needed. They win at 49-0 versus Community last Friday. I mentioned we will have a preview later in the week, and we got a lot of big games, region play for many, and then a very high-profile non-region game for Giles County. But more on that as we continue later on this week. That is all we have for Lawrence County and Giles County. What a week it was. Hats off to the winners and the squads that did fall on Friday. We'll have a chance to go out and do it again this week and be right back in the thick of things. For the Lawrence County Advocate and the Pulaski Citizen, I'm Wade Neely saying so long, and we'll see you next time.
Once again, for more information on all of these reports, you can visit each of our websites or visit mainstreetpreps.com. That is the fastest way to get all of the information from around Middle Tennessee high school sports. Volleyball's in action, girls soccer, and of course, high school football season. Regular season is wrapping up here soon, so make sure to join us again on Main Street Prep's High School Football Wrap-Up Show. Once again, I'm Chris Yao. Thanks to our friends at the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans, don't let fans drive drunk. See you next week.
This is the Main Street Preps High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans, don't let fans drive drunk.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.